I stood outside the concert venue in Miami, watching my brother Kyle and his friends take selfies. They were laughing, excited, wearing matching shirts they'd printed for the trip. A trip I wasn't invited to. Kyle saw me and his smile dropped. "What are you doing here?" "I came for the concert," I said. He looked confused. "How did you even get tickets?" "This show sold out in 2 minutes. I have my ways." His girlfriend, Madison, stepped forward. "Kyle, I thought you said your sister couldn't afford to come." "She can't," he said, looking at me. "Can you?" I shrugged. "I'm here, aren't I?" He laughed. A short, bitter sound. "Let me guess. You bought nosebleed seats and now you want to hang out with us." "Something like that." Madison whispered to him loud enough for me to hear. "We can't babysit her all night." Kyle nodded. "Look, Lily, we planned this trip months ago. It's not personal. We just wanted it to be our thing." "I get it," I said. "Do you?" He crossed his arms. "Because you showing up uninvited is kind of weird." I felt the heat rising in my chest. The familiar sting of being excluded. Of being treated like I didn't matter. My whole life, Kyle had been the favorite. The successful one. The one who got everything handed to him while I had to fight for scraps. But things were different now. I pulled out my phone and checked the email from my manager. VIP access confirmed. Backstage passes ready. Let me know when you arrive. I looked up at Kyle and his friends waiting in the general admission line. They had no idea what I'd been building. No idea who I'd become. But they were about to find out. "Enjoy the show," I said, walking past them toward the VIP entrance. Kyle's voice followed me. "Lily, where are you going?" "To my seats," I said without turning around. "Your seats are that way," he called, pointing toward the main entrance. I kept walking. The VIP entrance had a red carpet. Security guards. A velvet rope. I walked up to the woman with the clipboard. "Name?" she asked. "Lily Chen." She scanned her list and smiled. "Welcome, Miss Chen. Right this way." I heard Kyle's voice behind me. "Wait, what?" I glanced back. He was staring, his mouth open. The security guard unhooked the velvet rope and let me through. Kyle pushed forward. "Excuse me, that's my sister. There must be a mistake." The woman checked her clipboard again. "Are you on the VIP list?" "No, but..." "Then I can't let you through." Madison grabbed his arm. "Kyle, what's going on?" He looked at me confused. "Lily, how did you get VIP passes?" I smiled. "I told you. I have my ways." "That's impossible." "Those passes cost thousands of dollars." "I know. You don't have that kind of money." I shrugged. "Don't I?" His face flushed red. "Stop playing games. How did you really get in?" "I bought them," I said simply. "You're lying." The security guard stepped between us. "Sir, you need to move along." Kyle's friends were whispering now, staring at me like I was a stranger. Madison tugged his sleeve. "Come on, Kyle. Let's just go to our seats." But Kyle didn't move. He kept staring at me. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "You were broke 6 months ago." "A lot can change in 6 months," I said. "Like what?" I looked him dead in the eye. "Like everything." I turned and walked through the VIP entrance, leaving him standing there. Confused. Angry. And completely in the dark. Exactly where he'd left me so many times before. The VIP lounge was incredible. Leather couches. An open bar. A buffet with food I couldn't even pronounce. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the stage. I grabbed a drink and found a seat near the front. My phone buzzed. A text from Kyle. "What the hell is going on?" I didn't reply. Another text. "Lily, answer me." I turned my phone face down and took a sip of my drink. Growing up, Kyle and I were close. We did everything together. But somewhere around high school, things changed. He became popular. I stayed invisible. He got the college scholarships. I worked 2 jobs to pay tuition. He got the internships, the connections, the opportunities. I got nothing. By the time we were adults, the gap had widened so much we barely spoke. And when we did, it was always the same. Him talking about his job, his apartment, his girlfriend, his life. Me listening, nodding, pretending I was fine. But I wasn't fine. I was drowning, and no one noticed. So I stopped waiting for them to notice. I started a side business designing websites. It was small at first. $100 here, 200 there. Then I landed a client who paid 5,000, then 10,000, then 50. By the time I turned 27, I wasn't designing websites anymore. I was running a digital agency with 12 employees and a 7-figure revenue stream. I'd also started investing. Real estate, stocks, crypto before it exploded. I bought a condo in downtown Miami. A car I'd always dreamed of. And when I saw that my favorite band was doing an exclusive concert with limited VIP packages, I didn't hesitate. I bought 2. One for me, and one for the assistant I'd hired last month as a thank you gift. But I didn't tell my family any of this. Why would I? They never asked. The lights dimmed. The crowd roared. The band took the stage. I stood at the VIP railing, watching the show from the best seat in the house. Below, in the general admission pit, I could see Kyle and his friends crushed against the barriers. Sweating, struggling to see over the crowd. I felt a small flicker of satisfaction. Halfway through the set, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. Kyle. I let it ring. He called again. And again. Finally, I answered. What? Where are you? He shouted over the music. VIP section. I can't believe you didn't tell me you had VIP passes. You didn't invite me to the trip, I said. Why would I tell you anything? That's not fair. Isn't it? He was quiet for a moment. Can you get us in? I laughed. You're kidding, right? Come on, Lily. We're family. Family, I repeated. The same family that excluded me from this trip? The same family that told me I couldn't afford to come. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. Lily, please. Madison really wants to see the stage up close. Then she should have bought VIP passes. You know we couldn't afford that. And you assumed I couldn't either, I said. But here I am. He sighed. Fine. Be petty. I'm not being petty, I said. I'm just done letting you treat me like I'm less than you. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from anger. From relief. For the first time in years, I'd stood up to him. And it felt incredible. The band played their biggest hit. The crowd sang along. I closed my eyes and let the music wash over me. This was my moment. Not his. Mine. And I wasn't sharing it. After the concert, I was invited backstage. The VIP package included a meet and greet with the band. I stood in line with about 20 other people. Everyone was buzzing with excitement. When it was my turn, the lead singer shook my hand. Thanks for coming. Thank you for an incredible show, I said. We took a photo. He signed a poster. I thanked him again and walked toward the exit. That's when I saw Kyle. He was standing near the backstage entrance, arguing with a security guard. I'm telling you, my sister's back there, he said. Just let me through for 2 seconds. No backstage access without a pass, the guard said firmly. Madison stood beside him, arms crossed. This is ridiculous. Kyle saw me and his face lit up. Lily, tell him you're my sister. I walked over slowly. Is there a problem? Yes, Kyle said. I've been trying to find you. Can you get us backstage? Backstage is for VIP pass holders only, I said. I know, but you're here. Can't you just bring us in? No. His face fell. Why not? Because you didn't invite me to this trip, Kyle. You made it very clear I wasn't welcome. So why would I do any favors? Madison scoffed. Wow. You're really going to hold a grudge over this. It's not a grudge, I said. It's a boundary. Kyle stepped closer. Lily, come on. Don't be like this. Like what? Petty. Vindictive. I laughed. I'm not being vindictive. I'm being honest. You've excluded me my whole life. You've made me feel small. And tonight, I'm choosing not to let that continue. He stared at me. I never excluded you. Yes, you did. When? Every single time you made plans and didn't include me. Every time you assumed I couldn't afford something. Every time you treated me like I was invisible. Kyle's face turned red. That's not fair. You're twisting everything. Am I? I looked at him. You didn't invite me to this trip. You told Madison I couldn't afford it. You didn't even ask if I wanted to come. Because I thought you'd say no. You didn't give me the chance, I said. You just decided for me. Madison stepped in. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Kyle, let's just go. But Kyle didn't move. How did you afford all this, Lily? The tickets. The VIP passes. What's going on? I have a job, I said. Doing what? Running a business. He blinked. What kind of business? A successful one. Stop being vague. I sighed. I run a digital marketing agency. We do web design, branding, social media management. I started it 5 years ago. Now we have clients all over the country. His mouth fell open. You own a company? I do. Since when? Since I stopped waiting for your approval, I said. Madison looked shocked. Why didn't you tell anyone? Because no one asked, I said simply. Kyle talks about his job every time we see each other. But he never once asked about mine. Kyle shook his head. That's not true. When was the last time you asked me how I was doing? I said. Really asked. Not just a polite, how are you, but actually cared about the answer. He didn't respond. Exactly, I said. The security guard cleared his throat. Folks, I need you to clear the area. I turned to leave. Kyle grabbed my arm. Lily, wait. I pulled away. Let go. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. You didn't realize because you didn't care, I said. But that's okay. I don't need you to care anymore. I walked away, leaving him standing there. Silent. Stunned. I took an Uber back to my hotel. The penthouse suite at the Fontainebleau. Ocean view. Private balcony. Room service whenever I wanted it. I changed into comfortable clothes, poured myself a glass of wine, and stood on the balcony looking out at the water. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Kyle said you're in Miami? Why didn't you tell us? I sighed and called her. Hi, Mom. Lily, what's going on? Kyle said you showed up at his concert with VIP passes. He's very upset. I'm sure he is. Why didn't you tell us you were going? Because Kyle didn't invite me to the trip, I said. So I came on my own. She was quiet for a moment. He said he didn't think you'd want to come. He didn't ask. Well, maybe you should have said something. Why is it always on me to say something? I asked. Why is it never on him to include me? Lily, that's not fair. Isn't it? I set down my wine glass. Mom, do you know what I do for a living? You work with computers, right? I own a company, I said. A successful one. I have 12 employees. I make more in a month than Kyle makes in a year. Silence. You own a company? Yes. Since when? 5 years. Why didn't you tell us? I did, I said quietly. I told you when I started it. You said that's nice and changed the subject. She didn't respond. I've been telling you for years, I continued. But no one listens. Everyone's too focused on Kyle. His job. His life. His accomplishments. And I just faded into the background. Honey, I didn't know you felt that way. I know, I said. That's the problem. My mom sighed. I'm sorry, Lily. I really am. I didn't realize we were making you feel excluded. It's okay, Mom. It's not okay, she said. You're my daughter. I should have been paying attention. You can start now, I said. I will, she promised. And I'm proud of you. For building something on your own. For being so strong. Thank you. We talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. I felt lighter. Like a weight had been lifted. The next morning, I woke up to a knock on my door. I opened it. Kyle stood there, hands in his pockets, looking like he hadn't slept. Can we talk? He asked. I stepped aside and let him in. He looked around the suite. Wow. This place is incredible. Thanks. He sat on the couch. I'm sorry, Lily. For everything. I sat across from him. I'm listening. I didn't realize how much I'd been leaving you out, he said. I thought you were fine. I thought you didn't care about the stuff I was doing. But I see now that I was wrong. You were. I'm sorry, he said again. I want to do better. I want to be a better brother. I nodded. I appreciate that. Can you forgive me? I looked at him. Really looked at him. He was my brother. And despite everything, I loved him. Yes, I said. But things have to change. They will, he promised. I mean it. Good. He smiled. So, you really own a company? I do. That's amazing, Lily. I'm proud of you. Hearing those words from him meant more than I expected. Thank you. We spent the next hour talking. Really talking. About my business. My life. My dreams. And for the first time in years, he actually listened. Before Kyle left, he looked at me. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why didn't you rub it in my face last night? You could have humiliated me in front of everyone. But you didn't. I thought about it. Because that's not who I am. I didn't do this for revenge. I did it for me. To prove to myself that I'm worth more than how you treated me. He nodded. I get that now. Good. He stood up. For what it's worth, you're the strongest person I know. I smiled. Thanks, Kyle. After he left, I spent the rest of the day exploring Miami. I went to the beach. Had lunch at a rooftop restaurant. Bought myself something expensive just because I could. That evening, I flew back home. But something had shifted. I wasn't hiding anymore. I wasn't shrinking to make other people comfortable. I was done being invisible. 3 months later, Kyle invited me to his birthday party. Not as an afterthought, but as a guest of honor. He introduced me to his friends as his sister who runs a successful company. He asked about my work. He listened. And for the first time in years, I felt seen. My mom started calling me every week. Not to talk about Kyle, but to talk about me. She asked about my clients, my goals, my life. And she listened. Really listened. Things weren't perfect, but they were better. And that was enough. I stood in my office one afternoon, looking out at the city skyline. I'd built this. Not for them. For me. But it felt good to finally share it. To finally be seen. To finally matter. I picked up my phone and texted Kyle. Thanks for listening. He replied immediately. Thanks for giving me another chance. I smiled. And got back to work. 6 months after Miami, my company hit a major milestone. We signed a contract with a Fortune 500 client. It was the biggest deal we'd ever landed. I celebrated with my team. We went out to dinner. Popped champagne. Laughed until our sides hurt. That night, I called my family. My mom answered. Lily, how are you? I'm great, Mom. I have some news. What is it? We just signed a huge contract. The company is officially in the big leagues. She screamed. Screamed. Oh my God, Lily. That's incredible. Kyle got on the phone. Congrats, sis. You're killing it. Thanks, Kyle. We should celebrate, he said. Let me take you out to dinner next weekend. I'd like that. And he did. He showed up. He asked questions. He celebrated with me. It felt surreal. But it felt right. I wasn't the invisible sister anymore. I wasn't the one left out. I was Lily Chen. CEO. Entrepreneur. Success story. And I'd done it on my own. Without their approval. Without their validation. Without their permission. I'd built something real. Something I was proud of. And now, finally, they saw it too. But the truth is, it didn't matter if they saw it or not. Because I saw it. I believed in myself. And that was enough. I stood in front of the mirror one morning, getting ready for a big presentation. I looked at my reflection and smiled. This was me. Strong. Confident. Successful. And I wasn't hiding anymore. Not for anyone. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, leave a comment sharing a time you proved someone wrong, and subscribe for more powerful stories of resilience, revenge, and redemption. You won't want to miss what's coming next.